Happy Monday to you. This is John McEntyre Show live. I'm John McEntyre, and today is the last day of March. It is March 31st, 2025, and a lot is going on. Most people are like, wow, this is the first quarter. This is the end of the first quarter of 2025. So, three more quarters ago. I actually heard someone say we have 9 months until Christmas. So, Christmas countdown is already started. So, I'm like, hey, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But we have a good show here today. I know I had to take a break. We've been working on continuing education type stuff, professional business and professional. Um, some a couple of bugs, flu bugs came through the house, and so we had to battle all of that good stuff as usual. And so here I am. Like I said, it is Monday, and hopefully we'll get a good start off to the week here. And so with that being said, Monday, the 31st is the end of March, which tomorrow is the beginning of April. And so there's quite a few things for April. You know what I always do for the first show of April and everything. I talk about planning, your budget for each month. We do a budget each month because each month brings its own different, you know, you have your stable, predictable things, your payments that you have to make, whatever those are. But then you have those types of things that you have to budget for because they change month in and month out. You have certain holidays, certain, events that happen every year in certain months, things like that. And so with April, um, number one, April is Financial Literacy Month. Every year, this is the 22nd anniversary. This will be tomorrow, which begins Financial Literacy Month, will be the 22nd anniversary of financial literacy. For financial literacy, which is a time dedicated to promoting financial education and empowerment as inflation, global events, and economic pressures continue to challenge households. Improving financial literacy has never been more critical. And so that's why when it was founded 22 years ago, that's what it was to do, to increase financial literacy. Um, I had just started being on television during that time. And so I did one of the early shows. One of my early shows was talking about financial literacy. And I actually had guests who were some of the um, um, sort of like founding members, advisors that helped put it together and promote it, because we've always had books about financial literacy, building wealth, things like that. But during that time, there just wasn't a lot of television, video or television. There was no such thing as YouTube. Um, was Google Video? I think I was putting things on Google Video at the time because that's where YouTube came from. It came from Google. It started out as Google Video. Then it was rebranded as YouTube. Google Video went away. Um, and so there just wasn't a lot out there. There was maybe one or two programs on television. And when I started, that's where like the award nominations and everything came in for us in that particular category because there just wasn't a lot out there. And so financial literacy, personal finance was just becoming more and more important because bankruptcies, foreclosures, things like that were beginning to climb. And they basically came to the conclusion, the advisors came to the conclusion that it was foundationally because of financial illiteracy. The real estate markets were booming. People were buying homes. I mean, they were giving lenders were giving mortgages to pets, to kids. I mean, if you had a social security number, or even if it was real or not, you could basically get a loan. And so everything, and there was a lot of predatory lending and things like that, and that's what caused a lot of those foreclosures and bankruptcies. And so financial literacy really began to take off, and we were just, you know, blessed and lucky to be in the right place at the right time to do our part in educating, and here we are, we're still doing it. So with that being said, just remember that it's Financial Literacy Month, which means pick up a book, learn something new about financial literacy, because we all know how important money is. A lot of people will say, money is not that important. Well, it is. It's kind of high up there with oxygen. You can't breathe without oxygen. It's hard to live in this world without money. I mean, you can make it without money, but it won't be pretty. And so, and especially with today's times, all of the turmoil, the political turmoil, the economic, inflation is high, things like that. Financial literacy is becoming more and more important. Also, it's one of this, if not the number one, it's up there, number two at least, causes of divorces, and things like that. And so we have to educate ourselves financially, and that's why I'm here. That's what's always driven us here, um, is to increase, the financial health and well-being of our viewers and clients and everyone that we come in contact with. So April is Financial Literacy Month. I'm going to share some reminders. These are budget reminders. I have to, we remind ourselves each month. Andrea and I, we sit down, and Bella, she's included. We talk about everything that's going to be happening each month, and we have to budget for it. I've been doing this. I've been doing it live almost a year, and so every month I do the budget reminder. And so for April is actually a big one. It's serious. Every month is important, but April, because there's a couple of things. Number one, it's a four-letter word, but only has three letters, and that's taxes. Number one, April 15th. We all know that. Most people will remember, they will remember April 15th before they almost remember their birthday or their anniversary. So that's because that's just how important it is. April 15th, time to file those taxes or an extension, whichever way. A lot of businesses, they just do extensions. Um, if you if and even if you are requesting, an automatic 6-month extension, with that's what it is. It's extended to October. You still have to pay any taxes due by April 15th. Whatever's due. It's also, you make your first quarter estimated income taxes are due by that time. And so just remember, countdown. Uh, it's so funny to me that on April 15th, like the post offices, tax preparers, everyone is like crazy busy. I mean, lines out the post office for those people that still mail off for some strange reason. They still do it by mail or whatever. But tax preparers, IRS, the website, everything is like working overtime. And it's extremely important this year to really be on top of the taxes, because we all know it's happened. A lot of cuts has happened in the government. And although it's been, said that it won't affect this particular area, I kind of don't believe that. Um, Mainly because just the morale of a lot of people. I've had conversations with some people, and they said the morale is not that high in these areas because these people don't know if and when they may lose their jobs. And so anytime you go into those types of situations where you don't know what's going to happen day to day, sort of lose your enthusiasm, sort of kind of don't care what happens, if the work gets done or not. I don't want to chance it. I wouldn't want to chance it that way. So I would not be waiting to the final, to the last minute procrastinating, and because it may not be a good thing this year. We don't know. It's just so many balls up in the air that we just don't know what's going to happen. The markets, they're showing, negative signs. Recessions are being predicted, things like that. and it's causing fear, confusion, anger, all of the emotions. People are on these emotional roller coasters, um, and so just stay on top of things. Just stay on top of things. That's the best advice I could give right now, is just to stay on top. Control what you can control, which is, you can't control the market. You can only control yourself. And so that's what you have to keep in mind with these particular things here. So now is not the time to wait, procrastinate with these types of situations, because um, Uncle Sam wants his money, and he will get it one way or another, and he won't accept any excuses. Believe me. So April 15th, big tax day. All right. Um, Also, April 15th, another thing is, I've discussed this before in one of the earlier shows. You can still make contributions to your IRA or your Coverdell education savings accounts, and still, and get the tax breaks and everything for the certain, if you have those certain IRAs, a couple, those education savings accounts. So April 15th, it's a stressful day for that, but you can still, before that, make those contributions to those IRA, to your individual retirement accounts. If you have the one that will benefit you, which everyone does, because you can make your contributions. You can make those maximum contributions. A lot of people haven't maxed out their IRA contributions, and also those Coverdells. Saving for college, that's a big expense. So every dollar, every time, every expense, every write-off counts, and these are benefits that's still in place, and you can take advantage of them. So those are the major ones. All of them are major, but those are the ones to really, 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 really focus on, to take care of. All right, let's get into those, to the day-to-day living budget expenses for April. This is one that's close to me, well, close to the household, and I know it's close to a lot of other parents that's been talking, because it seems like just yesterday, um, we were bringing Bella home. A little bundle of joy, about this little bit over almost 7 pounds. We were bringing her home, and then it's like we blinked, and now she's looking at dresses. Well, her dress just arrived for the prom. And I'm like, she just got here yesterday, but her dress for the prom, that's a biggie. The dresses, they are not cheap. The prom is not cheap. The prom wasn't cheap when I was going to the prom, and I went to more than one. I went to more than two, and just so happened, my brother Eddie, he said, "Look, if you're going to more than one prom or whatever, you don't need to rent a tuxedo. It's time to just buy a nice suit." And so I'm even, he's always been the money minded guy. I learned a lot from he and my sister-in-law, his wife Candy. um, they were, excited about me going to the prom, and so he was like, to save money, instead of giving that money to rent a tuxedo, a suit that someone else has worn, you can take the same amount of money and buy a nice suit, and it's yours, and you can wear it to, whatever, parties, funerals, whatever. Made a lot of sense to me. So I've always been sort of, when this time of the year comes around, I always think about that. But Bella, she doesn't want to hear that. She was like, no, this prom, if I go to another prom, which she will, she's already been invited to other proms. She was like, I'll just wear a different dress. So we already know our expenses. The expenses for prom is going up here. But then you have the, the price of the prom, the tickets, and I'm like, my goodness, that much just to go to the prom, and then you have to, and that's individually, I'm hearing costs of, I mean, the least I've heard is like $55 for one. So that's what, 55, $110 just for tickets, just to attend. So these kids, they're working themselves, they're working their jobs, and side hustles and front hustles and back hustles and all around the world hustles to raise this money to go to this prom. Um, and it is a fun time, but the cost is going up. And then you have the flowers, pictures. I mean, they're taking these, they're hiring these photographers, and they're creating these big packages. And I'm like, Bella, don't you? I mean, you have the camera on your iPhone is just as expensive as the camera that the photographer is using. I'm quite sure if we go out there and take enough pictures, we'll get some good ones. Um, Kids, they don't want to hear that. They want to, and also the parents, they're caught up in it and everything like this. And so that's just a big one. This is prom season. It's prom season. So we just have to roll with it, you know. So enough about that prom. Another big one, sports, spring sports. We have the baseball. I know baseball players, lacrosse players, soccer, golf, tennis. Um, Bella, our daughter. She's a swimmer, year-round swimmer. She swims year-round for a traveling team, and so um, those those costs, they don't get any cheaper. Especially some of those sports, tennis and golf, two of the most expensive sports out there. And I'm talking to parents. And they're like, you know, uh, they don't know it, but I'm not spending that much money for a set of golf clubs, and they're not quite committed yet. Or those expensive tennis rackets, I'm not going to do it because they haven't shown me that they're seriously that committed. And so, I'm hearing these types of stories with the sports, and the baseball and softball and all of the track and field. These sports, this traveling, it is expensive. It is expensive, and you can budget for it. Prom and spring sports themselves, if you haven't planned for them, they can really bust a budget. They can like blow a budget out of the water. So you definitely want to plan for those, the sports. Myself, with swimming, the trips get longer, and so we having to pay for hotels, all of the food, all of this good stuff. Gas, travel, whatever, whether we fly or whether we drive or whatever. You have to plan for it, and so sports, proms, closer to home, inside the home, landscape and gardening. I talked about that one for the March budget. And man, do I have some stories there. Gentleman had a pallet, I mean a full-blown pallet of mulch to go around his house, trees, all of the flower beds, everything. All of that was supposed to happen. And I mean, beautiful. I mean, this stuff was beautiful whenever it happened. Um, 2 days later, after he had beautified everything, like I said, thousands of dollars spent here. That real bad rainstorm came from, we caught the residual of one of the hurricanes that came off the Gulf. And in less than 12 hours, all of that work was undone. I mean, mulch was just streaming down the street. It was like, trees fall over into a river and all of this, all of the stuff fall into a river, how it can like pile up. That's how the street looked. All of that beautiful mulch just washed away like that. I talked to him. I'm like, wow, that was a lot of. He's like, I did not see that coming. I said, I kind of figured that we were going to have another big storm and frost, and also frosted. So a lot of people lost flowers and things like that. And this is hundreds of dollars they put in their budget, so they're going to have to budget again for like twice, two hits. I mean, I'm like, wow, that's serious. So all of this mulch just pretty much washed down the street, and I'm like, it's down there, it's piled up against the sidewalk or whatever. I get a shovel, wheelbarrow. I try to get as much, save as much as possible. And I was like, well, it happens. I was like, okay, well, okay, that's your money. Believe me, I'll figure out what to do with that mulch that's sitting down there against the thing. And some people took advantage of it. Some of the people in the neighborhood, they was like, I'm going to get some of that mulch. I can use some of it. And so that's this, that, and the other. So basically a pallet of mulch, tons of mulch. I mean, it was a couple of tons brought in, gone, washed away. And so that's expensive. Landscaping and gardening, taking care. Some people, they're proud of those yards. They're trying to win that um, yard of the month award, and so they will spend the money. Some people, they will put their pride and joy is in that yard, and I appreciate it. I love seeing a beautiful, well manicured lawn myself and everything. But hey, some people take it much serious. It's like a religion to them. But that landscaping and gardening, you have to definitely budget for that. Another big one, that HVAC checkup. This is the real estate agent in me. The realtor in me is talking now. Um, this time of the year, the heat's about to start pouring in on us. We're here in the Carolinas, and so we get a little bit of every season. And when it decides to get hot here, it gets hot. Um, and I don't do well in heat, and so the air conditioner has to be functioning very well for me. Um, but with HVACs, HVACs is not something that you just. I mean, a lot of people do it, but it's not good to just one day just flip the air conditioner on, because it can be kind of hard on the system. There might be some settlement somewhere. Animals set up shop. You would not believe. Personally, one of our vents, it was working fine. I mean, it was perfect, but just so happened, um, this particular vent runs under my desk, my home office desk. And so I kept feeling like this noise, this like rattling under my feet. And I'm like, what in the world? And I'm like, okay, it can't be rats. I haven't seen anything. And I'm on the second floor. Our place is 3 stories. I'm on the second floor, and I was like, normally they don't set up shop high up. They keep, kind of stay ground level, close to the ground. So I'm looking, I go outside and I look up at the vent, and the vent slides open a little bit and a bird flies away. So I gotta get the ladder out, pull out the ladder. I pull the vent cap. Nice, it's a nice bird's nest sitting there. Um, and I guess that was the mother bird or whatever. And right when I looked up, I almost like went backwards off the ladder because she flew out, and I was like, "Wow!" Now, if I that was not the air vent, that was actually the dryer vent. I'm sorry, let me correct myself. That was actually the dryer vent, which is something else to check. Make sure you keep check of that. But inside, people said that inside, people have gotten inside of vent. Not people, but little critters, things like that, have gotten inside of vents and wreaked havoc. You know, so it's something to check on. So I said that to say, make sure you check all of that and don't just turn on the air. Some company, like if you buy, your heating and air, from a company that may be part, of your warranty to have an annual checkup, or it may be like very inexpensive, but it's one of the best investments. It is definitely one of the best investments before you crank that air up. Because if that pump, it's like a serious jolt to the pump electrically and everything. That jolt could actually knock a lot of things out of whack in the system. So just have that, HVAC company come out, do that spring checkup, spring cleaning, make sure all the lines are fine, make sure your pressure is good, make sure your I'm wanting to say it. I keep wanting to say antifreeze, but the word come to me. But people out there that know what I'm talking about. Make sure all of those, everything is in working order before you crank it up, because you don't want one of those 100 degree days, close to 100 degree hit, and all of that goes out on you. It's not good. I don't function well at all. I remember when I did it a couple of summers ago, it hadn't even been 30 minutes, and I was panicking inside. I was trying not to show it outside, but Andrea, she read it. She was like, "Okay, let's get somebody out here. I know it's an emergency. Let's just get somebody out here, because you're not doing too well. It's only been 30 minutes." So there you go. So take care of that HVAC. Get that checkup. It may, $60 to $100. Well worth it. That's well worth it. That could save you thousands in a couple of months. Um, the last two, before I get off of here: spring break, summer vacations. Um, this year is sort of weird because uh, with Easter being, and Easter is another one, you have to budget for April. People, they spend a lot of money for Easter. I know I spend my money on the candy and all of this good stuff. Um, and some people still spend money on those beautiful outfits for church, especially the people that only go to church maybe once a year anyway, and it's usually twice a year, Christmas and Easter, and so they use that time to buy a nice suit, to look their best, or that beautiful dress, hats, and all of the pomp and circumstance. They have to do all of that. So plan for that. I had to remember to put Easter in there. Spring break. This is sort of weird because most spring breaks are around, especially with schools. Spring break is around the Easter, that kicks off that Easter week or whatever, and it's been sort of weird for us. But the school that Bella is actually in, our daughter's in high school. She's in an early college program with me. She goes to high school on a college campus, so she actually gets two breaks, and they've been sort of weird. So she's two breaks. She had one a couple of weeks ago, off pretty much a week, and then she has her actual high school spring break, the school system spring break, and so those were around. So you have to plan for that spring break. More and more expensive. People will be spending billions of dollars. These beaches are packed out, um, or the mountains, where people, they have their favorite places to vacation in spring break, and that's their one time to get the kids out, before summer and everything. So they have to plan for that. And also, it could be time to start planning for summer. Start socking that money away for the summer vacation, because that's usually the big vacation for families. And so you have to really plan for those. So I just wanted to share some of the budget reminders for April. Tomorrow is April the 1st. And remember, it's Financial Literacy Month. Um, I've shared some books on the show, on our lives here, some good financial literacy books. But any one of them will work. Some books, or there's a lot of seminars, a lot of online classes you could take just to learn, because the financial literacy, and financial education is very important. And the thing about it is, with most people, they really don't know how educated or literate they were until it's almost too late. They've aged. They're up in age now. They're hit retirement age, or maybe some physical ailments have happened, and illnesses and things like that, and they're not able to really work, and so they have to make do with what they had. And the financially literate ones have done very well for themselves. But the not so literate ones, they're having to depend on a lot of uh, you know the government, or family and friends, or generosity of others, just to live day to day. And financially, taking time to educate yourself financially can actually, um, reduce that, minimize it, or eliminate it altogether. And that's why we're here. So remember, educate yourself a little bit. Um, do that budget. I had someone talk to me, someone that I've been helping, and they've made it to their first year, and they're happy that they've done it, and they were like, I wrote it down. They said budgeting is like going to a gym. It's hard at first, but you'll love the results. So the effort is worth it. So just remember that when it's, sit down and you want to make out that budget. If you need help with budgeting, maybe you need budgeting sheets, or maybe need some help with putting one together, or the financial picture, contact us here. Um, we definitely put you on the right path to to financial health and wellness. Um, that's definitely what we're here for. We do more than just get on here live and talk about finances. It's what we do every day, working with people with their finances. So if that sounds like you, contact us. Our information is on the screen, or you can just go to johnmcintyre.com, go to the website, contact us, or call the toll free number, whatever. Contact us through social media, whichever way. A lot of people, I have some people, that's just their choice. They don't text or do anything. They just direct message. That's how they communicate. And so we had to adapt to it. And it's fine. As long as you're taking care of your financial situation, that's all that matters to us. And so, that being said, thank you for tuning in. Tune in next time for another live John McEntyre Show. And until then, we'll talk.